I figure since I'm driving my truck, and I'm going to pay more attention to doing that than making this video. I want to take this as an opportunity to talk with you though for a minute, because trucks are a foundation of how things get done, right? They're the ability of things being hauled from here to there, and you can go have fun, and you can go camping, and you can drag a travel trailer around or a boat, and you get a 4-wheel drive one, and that means you won't get stuck in the snow or in the mud or on that hillside that a 2-wheel drive maybe isn't built for, right? And people ask me, why do you drive such an ugly truck? I mean, some people got really pretty trucks, but you got an ugly truck. I said, well, look at me. No, I'm just kidding. I like to have a truck that I don't worry about too much. I mean, I maintain it mechanically, but as far as the aesthetics go, I could really give a shit about that. I mean, I'm more of a function over fashion kind of guy. And so, I mean, that's the thing is, like, my truck already has some dents in it. They're not huge dents, but, they don't reach out and grab you or nothing, but, but there's little dents here and there. And the paint, that they're just, some places there isn't even any of it left there, but, yeah, one of these days, if I get tired of looking at it, I'll throw a coat of paint on it. But but there's a lot of reasons that people own them pretty trucks that just don't align with what I want to experience in my life, right? I mean, because when I had a jacked up Excursion, they had the chip tires on it were over 40 inches tall, and you had to kind of jump up in there, and if I needed to give my grandma a ride, I had to bring a ladder along, and then help make sure that she didn't fall down the ladder as she climbed into the rig. But that truck, boy, I mean, all you had to do is drive it around, and you just had girlfriends wanting to be girlfriends all over the place. I mean, women would be wanting to ride in the truck, and then next thing you know, they're wanting a lot more than that. And they figure if you got a nice, big, pretty truck that you don't have to do much work in, it must mean that you have some money. But what they didn't know is that, that Excursion, it even got worked. I mean, I don't really hunt anymore, but when I did, I mean, gosh, I let the bodies hit the floor in the Excursion, right? I mean, because why not? If you're gonna have a rig, you might as well be able to use it for the things that you like to do. And the other thing about the dents, I mean, like if I have dents in my vehicle already, I know that it has been devalued from something that's perfect, right? Because when it's perfect, I mean, if this truck was in perfect mechanical and aesthetic condition, it'd probably be worth maybe $15,000 or $20,000, right? But that's because it's used. Now, if it was new, it'd be worth $80,000 if it's when it's perfect, But that perfection goes away really, really quickly as soon as it leaves the lot, and that's why you have a depreciation in the value of a new truck versus a used truck. And then you get real smart about stuff, or creative, and you start looking for the old trucks that people don't want hardly anything for. Like I picked up a 1978 Western Star, and this truck's capable of carrying maybe 20 or 30,000 pounds, with the size of the transmission, the gearing, and the strength of the axles, and the suspension, and stuff like that. Hauling a trailer, because putting on top of it, I think you can only put probably maybe 3,000 or 3,500 pounds. gets a little squirrely, or you start breaking things. But I bought a truck off of Marketplace for $1,200, and it was a 1978 Western Star, and you know, a big diesel truck. And you know, whereas this truck has an 8-foot bed that never has to be made, right? That one has a 22-foot bed, and so I can really stack a lot more stuff on that other truck than I can on this. And whereas this has 2 tires in the back, that truck has 8, and you know, and it's already got some dents on it too. So that's why it was only $1,200. And the air system leaked, and it hadn't been started in like probably 8 or 10 years, but luckily, with a couple new batteries and some ether, got the truck going, and the air system, it took a temporary repair that still is working. You know, it was just a hole in the air tank, and so I sealed it, you know, with the MacGyver method. But anyway, yeah. The other thing too is, like, if I'm in a parking lot and some little grandma pulls up next to me and parks next to me in the parking lot, and she opens up her door and smacks into my door, it's not really that big of a deal to me. You know, I'll be like, oh hey, you need a little bit more room to get out of there, or what? You know, but I don't have to, you know, get her insurance information so she can fix my pretty truck. I mean, what if that deductible is taken away from what she makes each month to be able to afford the things that she wants to do, you know? So, my grandma was cool. You know, she didn't have a truck, but she had a big old Cadillac, kind of an older one. And when I was like 14, she took me to town, and we went to the store, and when we were getting ready to leave the store, she said, she was backing up, and she bumped into a car, and you know, you get a feel, kind of move around a little bit, you know. Well, then she just dropped it into drive and drove away. And I looked at her, I said, Grandma, I said, I think you hit that car back there. And she's like, well, yeah, but that's what bumpers are for. Duh. And I mean, that just made sense. So I was like, well, that makes sense, right? Because that's what makes sense. You know, you can get into the bumper cars at the fair, and I mean, you can smack into somebody pretty good, and no problem, right? So if we have cars that are if we buy a car that's been engineered in a way that you can't even bump the bumper, well, that's on you. You know, I mean, that's on you. And yeah, you know, you learn a lot from your elders about logic and what makes actual sense, because what's been advertised to us is expensive, right? I mean, God, I had one of those cars that you couldn't get bumped, right, without it causing damage. And yeah, I mean, it cost thousands of dollars to fix that car that just got bumped. And it's not even worth it. That's why I buy cheap vehicles, and then I just fix them up, and I make them a better vehicle. It just gets me from here to there. It keeps them buckle bunnies from thinking that I got money, or that I got the ability to support their butt, their little horsey habits, or their, you know, or if I'm gonna be busy helping people, power and some solar power, or get your dog running on a wheel, you know, little gerbils and cats and everybody else. Spend some energy so we can spend some energy. Anyway, yeah, I think I'm done talking about trucks now. So, if you like what I'm doing, you can subscribe up here, and you can watch the next video that YouTube thinks is good for you right there.